All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmy Lee Velez. I'm here with Goose,
What up?
Heck,
Yo.
Manny, and Gabe. That's right, folks, cancellations. In this episode, the crew talks about the cancellations that happened to us and how we reacted to them. We cover topics that range from doctor appointments, school, work, haircuts, field trips, subscriptions, and other plans that were canceled on us. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Raymond Arroyo and Howard Hughes. All right, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to download or subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off as usual with a definition from dictionary.com. We define cancellations. Something canceled.
Well, there you go.
As a reservation for a hotel room, airplane ticket, allowing someone to obtain the accommodation, someone else to obtain the accommodation. So that's pretty obvious and self-explanatory. For the story, we grabbed an article from themuse.com titled 3 Steps to Responding to Someone Who Just Canceled on You at the Last Minute. Number 1, consider what might be. We should all do this more often. The next time a coworker's short with you, or you receive a snappy response to an email, or your mentor lets you know 5 minutes before you're supposed to meet that he can't make it, assume that there's a good reason. Okay. That is very true. I mean, there's a lot of times I just had a conversation with somebody that a lot of times we are very consumed with our own life and don't give slack to other people.
Or give like the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, because we're the only ones that are going through things, so it's hard to do that. Number 2, don't take it personally. This is some of the best advice I've gotten in my career. It sounds so simple, but I promise you, it's full of meaning and significance. If you must, you may even allow for a brief smug thought. It's so nice to be an organized person. I honestly don't know how I'd deal if I couldn't even keep my calendar straight. Before moving on and remembering that you may not have the full story. This kind of goes along with what I was saying. Number 3, let it go.
Let it go.
That's right. But not before clearly stating that you understand, but wish you could have been informed sooner. So that what is this? Just make sure you're passive aggressive. That
pretty much.
You've been given a chance to make alternate plans. By letting it go, you're also leaving the ball in the other person's court. Okay. Yeah. I mean, all these are, in my opinion, are very situational.
Sure.
It just depends. Because sometimes someone canceled something that you can't just let it go like that, right?
Yeah.
Someone leaves you like at the altar or something like that.
Well,
I don't think it's like something,
Not taken lightly.
Like some stuff have definitely, the weight is different.
Yeah, I mean, unless they were hoping that they did that, and then the weight got lifted off.
True.
So again, situational.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Can you think about that though? Imagine how many grooms or brides and grooms have been up there. It's like, oh man, if they didn't show up, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. I wonder how many of that. You know what I mean? You go through the whole process.
I think more guys probably say that.
People with they say people who get cold feet. I'm sure the thought may have crossed their minds, but
sure.
I think genuinely people don't really want that. I just think that it's just I don't want to deal with it.
It's
and
a
so
nervous
it's a thought.
stepping stone to
Right.
jump into the next step, and
But yeah, it is. I mean, that's with a lot of stuff. How much something crossed your mind? You wonder, I wonder if someone else ever thought about this. Which obviously, the answer, of course, is yeah. But who?
Yeah.
Did my dad ever think about it? I think about stuff like that,
Yep.
There was this thing, this kind of time where I was juggling a lot of things thought wise, and I was laughing and I'm like, I just thought of it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think my dad went through the same thing, right? And then it was I wouldn't know. I don't know. I wouldn't ever know. But it was just the thought popped in my head. I'm like, dang, James never met my dad, right? And then back in my mind, it was well, my dad's kids, meaning us, never met his dad. And I'm wondering if that bothered him. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like a thought that was bothering me. I'm like, oh, James would never meet my dad. I'm like, I wonder if my dad ever thought that. Like, my kids never meet my dad. Meanwhile, my dad never met his dad. My dad's dad passed away when my dad was only 6 months.
Oh, well, okay.
So it was, it was like one of those things. But yeah. So I don't know. You ever like go through something? Like, it was kind of like what you're saying. You're going through something and you're like wondering, oh, I wonder if someone else like went through.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, the question, obviously the topic is cancellations. Was there anything that was canceled on you? I know the obvious answer, but that you were really looking forward to, that maybe even, blindsided you or whatever.
I said in high school, I was picked for, like, they had like a study abroad, not student exchange program.
Okay.
And you have to go through like this extensive like interview process and all that stuff. And I was picked for it.
Yeah.
And we started the process and all that stuff. But it was like with us and I think Israel or something like that.
Okay.
Nice. You fit right in.
But yeah.
I'm sorry.
But I mean, that's at the point where like stuff started happening. Like I guess there was like tensions and stuff in like that part of the war or whatever.
Yeah.
That even most people who went through the whole process, I mean, we got to like setting up like certain like, I think we had like a bunch of meetings like after like on the weekends and stuff like that too, just to start the process. But then they just wound up canceling the thing altogether.
That stinks.
So it's like, and that was like, I think that was the last time they tried to do a program too. So
yeah,
that was the last year of it. And
How far did you get into it?
only like a few meetings before they started. When stuff started really happening, they started just.
Oh, I thought they like picked you and you were going through kind of the process.
Well, yeah, I was. I was the people actually picked for the.
Oh, so you were definitely going.
Yeah, so I was actually one of the ones who actually we did like the after meetings where like I forget how many, maybe it was like a dozen students, whatever it was.
How long was it going to be for? Like, was it
You would have been over
months?
for like a few months, I think, half the school year, something like that.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but I mean,
cool.
it just wound up not. I think it was like the tail end of the school. I forget exactly what the detail was. I was like I think I was a senior in high school, but yeah, I mean that was the thing that they just wound up stopping, and they haven't done it since. So
Yeah.
That stinks. Yeah. I remember being probably 10, maybe like 10 or 11, and one of my buddies invited me to his to go on vacation with his family down the shore or whatever. And this was obviously a planned thing. And so it was like the week leading in, we're talking about like all the cool stuff we're going to do. I told him bring in, like my boogie boards and all this stuff, whatever. Super hyped, dude. And I'm packed, everything ready to go like a Thursday night or whatever it was. It was like going to be like a long weekend. They're like, oh yeah, we're not going anymore. And that was all that was said. I don't know, maybe it was probably talk amongst the parents, maybe. But it was just like, yeah, we're not going. I was just like, oh, wow.
Like you got called, you got notified that night?
It was like the next day we were going. It was like that close to it was summer too, so I was like amped up,
Yeah, absolutely.
You're 10. You get a little excited for,
Just thinking about
things
the
like
beach
that.
and like you said,
Yeah.
your boogie board and
Yeah.
You know what sucks about that whole thing? You're 10, and you're
Yeah.
waiting for an explanation. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like you're 10, you don't warrant an explanation at the same time. But as a
Probably
kid,
don't
you're
want that explanation, that the
Right.
real story.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
You know what I mean? In your mind, though, you're just like, you're swole.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
like
I mean-
disappointed.
Dude, what it was, I just think it was like the buildup. Me and this dude hung out like 3 times a week, and every time we hung out for like the whole month leading in, you know what I mean? It was
yeah.
so much buildup,
oh yeah.
and then it just got like yanked. It was bad because I didn't even say anything. I just was like, "Oh, okay." Like mommy tried to tell me, and I guess I was trying to be like, whatever.
guy about it.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay. And I was just thinking, I'm like, I wonder why. That's crazy. And I remember like got like a frog in my throat and I just like went upstairs because I was like trying to like walk it off, kind of thing, and I couldn't take it. I went upstairs and like started crying.
Unpacking.
No, I
he
didn't
never
even
he never
unpack.
spoke to the kid again.
No. Me and the dude still talk. It had nothing to do with him. He just kept saying, I don't know. My parents, like, he didn't even know. Like, he genuinely was saying, I don't know. My parents just said we're not going anymore. No, I remember just like not even unpacking. You know, this is bad. I remember waking up the next morning, like hoping that wasn't real. Like I'm still going.
Denial.
There's no way. Yeah, total denial. Sitting there eating breakfast, like staring out the window. I got dressed and everything.
He still had
Kept
his
looking
summer
out the
outfit
window.
on.
Oh, that's
Waiting for
brutal.
the car to come. Bam, bam, let's go.
Yeah. Nah, so we just ended up going to Haiti Lake.
Oh man, I do.
I'm only kidding. I don't know what I ended up doing. I mean, you're 10, so I mean, you could find something to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it wasn't that difficult.
I'm sure you got
and it
over
wasn't
it
like I
pretty
was
quickly.
driving or anything. I bounced off probably like it took me like that day though, like that next day because I was like, well, okay, that stinks. But yeah, that was like one of my. I had nothing. It wasn't as like crazy, but dude, you know, like. If I'm talking about that, I'm 32 years old. That was 22 years ago, and that was like the first thing that popped in my head.
Still left the scar on you.
Anyone else? Well, that was a time where I got canceled on of something that I was really looking forward to. Now I take everything, obviously. Well, most things with stride, I'm sure.
Sure.
Anybody else on that?
I don't know if it's canceled, but it's like an empty promise. Like my dad worked a lot, and I used to love to go play catch, and I played catch with my buddy's dad. But you want to go play catch with your dad.
Yeah.
And he came home from work and I was, yeah, I got you, Pop. And my mom talked it up, and it was just like he came home and he was like, I'm tired, man. I just did 12 hours, and he laid on the couch. And I remember looking at him, and I looked at my mom, and I just didn't know what to do. So I went out and threw the ball up against the wall. And I lived next to the high school, so I just threw the ball up against the wall by myself, thinking to myself, what happened? And he didn't cancel. He just said no, but he promised it. So it wasn't an appointment, so to speak, but it was like after work. Man, I was pumped, and it was just, I was young too, 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
I never asked again though.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was one of the things where,
that.
you don't want to be disappointed
yeah,
again.
right. I didn't want to build myself up to just be knocked down. But yeah, it was just like, Don't let him find out that story.
That was...
He'd be mad. He'd be swore, you lying. Like,
So let's go play catch right now.
Yeah.
I forget what it was. It was like a Drake song or something like that. Remember just like waiting outside for his dad to come pick him up.
Yeah.
And he never showed up. And he was like, well, anyway, he was just saying his whole part of that line was that it made him stronger or whatever. But yeah, dude, that stinks.
No, but I mean, now I'm over the top with my son. Every time, go, let's go have a catch. And I'll make him come outside. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing for him, but I'm playing catch with somebody. All right, somebody's gonna play catch with me, that's for sure.
Someone's having to catch
It's happening.
What about a sporting event? Sporting event that got canceled.
That you used to go to, or like a
whether you're being
last
a
year-
part of or going to.
Was it last year or the year before we went to the Phillies game, our annual Phillies game, and everyone's amped up and ready to go, and it was just like a straight downpour. We even went into the game, and it was like they had a
Started,
tarp
though,
on the
didn't it?
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it started, but I think it went like
it was like 2 or 3
an inning or
innings,
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the end of that.
They had
And
a tarp down, and then all of a
to
sudden
stand
they're like,
in line to go back to the game.
yeah,
Standing, I was
Oh
like,
yeah, they gave
yeah.
us tickets on the way
On the
out,
way
or
out, so
something
you can
like
go the
that.
next day.
You had
that's
to.
what it was.
You
Yeah.
had to stay. I was like, not happening.
yeah, we're not going back.
The line.
I
by
remember
that
us
point-
saying that. Like, we're not coming
Yeah.
back.
yeah. Okay.
Oh, and it came down something fierce too.
Yeah, it was some husky rain falling. I don't know, but I mean that's like. It was canceled on us just because of the weather, but it was still
in the middle of
it
it.
stunk because we're
You're there for the
that's
game
something
and-
that we do every year, and it's like all right, so I guess this one's a wash, literally.
I mean, to some level or whatever, to some extent, that happened to us last year when we all went down to the shore.
Yes,
It
yes.
literally rained for 4 days straight.
4
The
days straight.
exact time we got there to the time we left.
This summer, yeah.
Jersey was in a state of emergency. That's how bad it was raining.
And we said, let's keep it
Wait,
going.
was it a hurricane?
It was hurricane.
Was it Irma?
2016, whatever the hurricane was. Was it Hermie?
Oh, last year, yeah.
I don't remember which one it was.
That they evacuated.
But they're
big
evacuating New Jersey, and we just got there. Like we literally pulled up, and they started telling people to go home. Basically,
I thought the sun came out because you had a picture. It's like they said it was gonna rain, and you showed
We were
it.
swimming in the pool at the hotel, and it was freezing cold.
No, that Friday it was sunny, and
Yeah,
then
it broke. It was you guys would
Yeah.
smoking cigars on a rooftop or somewhere.
and then that Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
It
it was
came
just
down.
forget
Yeah.
it. I mean, and it came down.
This year was cold.
Yeah.
We weren't canceling though.
Wasn't too bad.
We thought about it, Jen, because the forecast was like it was rain and then maybe some bad weather, like not beach weather. I was like, Jen, we gonna go? She's like, yeah, we gotta go now. I was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
It turned out
that bad.
It turned out good though.
Yeah, because we had like 3 beach days, which is like more than, bless you, that's just like more than normal. I think though that's different. Like I don't like to me so much don't care because you can still do stuff outside or whatever. Like with the rain, it's just, to me, it's like, I don't know. That's different.
Wet. You're just miserable in rain.
Yeah, and I remember one time we every year we would go to what was that park we used to go to in New Jersey?
Mercer County Park.
Mercer County Park in New Jersey.
Play wiki.
That we would have to go early. The only thing you could reserve was the pavilions.
Super early.
So the spots where they had grills, and if you wanted to have a good spot, you had to basically as first come first serve or whatever. So it'd be me, my dad, and my uncle Ruben would go with hammocks and basically camp. Like we would leave at 6 in.the morning.
No, earlier
than
that.
that, or get there at 6 in.the morning. I know it was like the
get there
point
at
was to
6.
get there at 6 in.the morning because everyone else wouldn't get there until like 8, 9 o'clock, like the actual thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we would go literally set up camp, and either go for like a little bike ride or whatever it was. We would make literally like eggs and sausage sandwiches, and then all of us would just take like a nap, and we're just like swinging on the thing, and we just wait till like 8, 9 o'clock till the wives and stuff showed up with all the rest of the kids and stuff like that. And one year, it just didn't give up. Like it just kept raining and raining. I'm like, and I was probably like that. I was like that age, like 10 or 11. I was just swole because it was like the first time I felt like my mom let me go with the guys, kind of thing. I was like, oh yeah, we were like held down the fort. This was awesome, and it just kept raining. It eventually stopped, and where we were was like kind of like under trees or whatever. But I remember being like, there was something that we were supposed to do in the morning that we couldn't do, and just again being like super swole. But I guess it's like your options are different when you're a kid, and so you look forward to things differently. Like as an adult, you can quickly, if the left turn, it was like a navigator or a navigation system. If the left turn, the road's blocked, you can make a right and keep it moving or whatever. But as a kid, you don't even have the car, right? So you're just kind of like stuck. You just got to do whatever your parents are doing. Like your choices are limited.
Yeah.
As an adult, obviously, then you can move, maneuver through your day a little bit differently.
Not only that, you don't have the experience to be like, all right, it's not the end of the world. Because everything at 10 and 12, you're like, oh my gosh.
I can't believe
it. You know what I mean? Everything
So dramatic.
Yeah, exactly.
So I have a cancellation. It was, we were supposed to go to Hawaii after our honeymoon. But it was just something happened where it was, the babies were too little to go. Like that we couldn't leave them behind. So we ended up swapping out a trip to Hawaii and in turn went to Disney. So I mean it kind of like it was canceled, but we still went out and did something with the family, yes, with all the kids and stuff like that. So it was kind of like an alternate.
So were you upset? I'd have been swole.
Yes, I was upset. I was bothered by it because that's one of my places that I want to go to is Hawaii.
Right.
And I thought that was like our only chance to go.
Probably was.
Yeah. So
Hawaii's like gonna go completely on the water, so it's like gonna be non-existent.
Yeah. So I said, we went to Disney.
Well, how close?
I saw Mickey Mouse.
How close to the point of it was it switched?
6 months.
Okay.
So I'd say a little.
That's far enough
So
out.
I
could
they
get
come
over
to
it.
grips with
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it was
Gabe,
Once you have your hopes going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I've been to
Well,
Disney.
yeah, I mean, a honeymoon and a vacation are two different things.
different
You didn't
things.
go on
Yeah.
a honeymoon.
No,
you went
we
on a
ended up turning
vacation.
it-
Kids and no
Yeah.
kids, that's a huge
So-
difference
Yeah.
too. Peace of mind, man.
But it's all good. It all worked out. We still had fun with the kids and stuff like
didn't
that.
go
I didn't go to Hawaii.
You didn't go to Hawaii.
Salty as
I
that.
know.
It's all good. I
said
didn't go
it.
to
It's all
Hawaii.
good.
And
He
Jess,
just
he's
snapped
like,
his
"Yeah,
hands up.
whatever."
Look at him.
It's all right.
He's literally wiping a tear right now.
That's funny.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. What about anything like on different terms, like an appointment wise? And Goose, I'll let you talk about that. But for the rest of us, like I know me and Heck have the classic tattoo appointments that got canceled on us, quote postponed, and swapped out dates.
Well-
But what about like a doctor's appointment or something that was like, whatever, any like appointment wise?
I mean, I know I've canceled like appointments where just like I couldn't make it. Like
Yeah.
I know a dentist appointment, canceled it because I couldn't make it or whatever. Forgot to reschedule. Next thing you know, I'm like 8 months late to get my teeth cleaned out, and
15 cavities.
no, it's not
whole
that. It
mouth
was
has to
just
be
like
replaced.
it's just like
16.
I just completely like forgot after it because usually it's on a residual.
Yeah.
Every 6 months you just go.
I'll say dentist is
Yeah.
months out in advance. So like,
Yeah. So I mean, and I just completely forgot. I mean, that was I don't know whatever the reason was at the time.
My thing was every time someone says a canceled appointment, I think of the tattoo appointments.
Yeah.
There was like an artist that was like very good, obviously, at what they did, their quote craft. But man, when it came to organization, this person just wasn't their thing. I literally saw this person swap people out on their schedule and basically on the phone telling someone that they're booked when the date was open, because then they remembered that they already had booked somebody. I mean, just very sloppy with the schedule. So with the tattoo appointments, depending on what you get, and at the time I was getting half of my arm done. So it wasn't just like I'm getting like somebody's initials on me or something where it takes like a half hour. The sessions were booked by like a 3-4 hour block, depending on how your skin reacted. So the time of day that this, artist can get me in, I had to basically use a day of work to go because the weekends were booked. This person was just booked.
Yeah.
Like literally like
Especially that's
8
the busy
months
times
out.
anyway.
Yeah. So if I wanted to get in sooner, you had to go during the week. So I would take days off. I would manipulate my schedule. I would start early. I would leave early, and it would be like, "Oh yeah, can we schedule for tomorrow?" And I'm just like standing there like, "No, I can't. I work. I have a job. I can't just schedule for tomorrow. Like, what do you mean? No."
Yeah, especially when you're going out of your way to already
And I just lost
organize
today.
all that stuff. Yeah. So I gotta take off tomorrow too.
Dude, and so that happened to me like probably 3 or 4 times with the same person. And the only reason why I kept going was because with tattoos in that industry, it gets really weird with finishing someone else's work, so to speak. So you have to get to a certain level of artwork done before someone's like, all right, yeah, that's fine. I'll kind of, they don't want to touch up something or make something look already better. And then you're going to give props to the previous artist.
Sure.
Like, oh, X, Y, and Z did this, when meanwhile it was the other person who put in the actual detail and made it look better. So they're very like, particular
want
with
the
that.
consistency of the same person and all stuff.
Well, yeah, and then they already had like a thought in their head, right? Like you're the artist, and they already knew exactly. And me trying to explain who's not in that level of thinking when it comes to creativeness or the artistry of it, I can't explain. I don't know what this person had. Like I knew generally, but they really had a plan.
Yeah.
But the execution was so bad, man. I had to switch. I went to another artist who basically was the same way.
Okay.
So I'm like,
listen, artists by nature, that's not their thing. Organization, they're artists for a reason, right?
They're both really good at what they do, man. But woo, that was really tough. You'll find them. You'll find someone who is organized, but it's not easy.
But so I see like the one guy I knew from high school, like he posts like on Facebook, "Oh, I got an opening, so come on over if you want."
Yeah. Well, some of it is, but I mean, when you're booking, you gotta think you're putting a deposit down for certain places, and you're booking 2, 3. Maybe sometimes even 4 months out, and you're booking multiple appointments. So that's how their quote book gets, booked.
Especially because it's long periods of time too. It's
Right.
Are no shows cancellations?
That's a straight up cancellation.
Yeah, that's it.
They cancel, but they didn't tell you.
The no shows hurt.
The no shows is I had an interview for a job I posted, had it set up, time, moved things around. I think it was set for like 2:00, and like 1:45, I start to kind of get mentally prepared for it, going over notes, this, that, and a third. 1:50, 1:55. Now I'm getting nervous. Like by 1:55, if somebody doesn't come, especially at 2:00, it's not like you're beating morning traffic, or you're gonna get hit by the afternoon rush, right? So by 1:55, I'm starting to get nervous. But at 2:00, I'm pissed at this point. Like I'm angry. I'm not gonna hold it against you, but I'm angry. 2:05. 2:10. I'm like, oh, by 2:15, I'm livid.
Yeah.
I said, if they're not here by 2:30, I'm done. I won't even. I'll just tell them to turn around and just leave.
Dude,
It's
by
not even worth it.
2:10, if you don't get a call, that's it.
Right, and then I waited for the call. So there's so many forms of communication,
Yeah.
whether it be a text message, email, phone call. I mean, you can get
Absolutely.
to a person and let them know you're running late.
There's no reason.
Yeah, no show's
why
even
don't I
worse
let
just
you
because,
know.
like you said, you're waiting, you schedule your
Yeah.
day around it, and
Yeah.
they don't even tell you. So you're like,
Yeah.
you're sitting around wasting time. You could be productive somewhere else,
Right,
even
right.
if it's for 5-10 minutes.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
right.
I mean, just
But
your
it's-
mental capacity. Just sitting there worrying about or thinking about that, you could have been, worried about and thinking about something else.
Right.
In my industry, the barber industry, that it happens a lot. I'm based off appointments all day long.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, you'll get like, I'll have a walk. You say it's at 2:00. I have someone that'll walk in at 2:00 and just want as a walk-in, and I'll turn them down. Like I don't have an availability today. I have a 2:00 appointment. I'll set you up for another time. They walk out. 5 minutes later, my 2:00 never shows up.
Oh man.
So I could have
You
if
could've
that
turned that to-
my 2:00 appointment
Yeah.
would have called me and said I'm not making it in. I could have filled it
Still
in with a
made your
walk-in.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm frustrated in two different ways,
Yeah.
and it happens not often, but it does happen.
Yeah.
You know, so it is frustrating when you don't get like that's just on a no show. Sometimes. If some people do cancel, I do have enough time to call someone. There are people that are like, oh, yo, if you had a cancellation today, I live right around the corner. Just let me know. I could be there in 2
Right.
minutes. So if I do get a cancellation, yeah, I'm frustrated, but I know I can fill it in.
Yeah.
Hoping that person that texted me earlier today will come in and I'll have like a full day.
Yeah.
But for me, a no-show is like, it's worse than even canceling. Because
Yeah.
you're not even given a heads up.
No,
You're
absolutely.
not even considerate or nothing. So it's like,
Exactly.
it's frustrating.
What sucks for you is they're more than likely repeat business. So like the next time,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, like, hey,
Well,
you
so-
said, can you fit me? And you're just
So
like,
I'm working on that right now. Like the first time that it happens, it's like you give them a warning, be like, yo, you kind of bust their chops. Like, yo,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Yo, you left me
Yeah.
hanging, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I could have been here. Or if it was one of my last customers of the day, I make them feel even more dumb. I'm like, dude, I could have went home, had dinner with my
Yeah.
family. I could have done something else if you
Yeah.
told me you weren't coming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
But then if it starts happening more and more often, I kind of just like,
just kinda-
kind of just push them off.
Yeah,
more.
cut it
like,
off.
Yeah, I do. I give them the same treatment back, and
Yeah.
they'll text me, yo, if they're a month later, they cancel, right? So they don't come in, they do a no show. A week later, like, yo, if someone cancels, can I, put me in? My hair's woofing. Meanwhile, you missed your last appointment and never told me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you on the back burner. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna put you. You're not a priority at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, in my mind, it's like a payback in a way, but it's still frustrating.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
you know what, dude? That emotionally takes it out of you. Because after the interview, I was pissed.
Yeah.
I still
yeah,
had
yeah.
2.5 hours worth of work. I'm like, you might as well just shot. I should have left.
Yeah.
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 I was just pissed off. Answered, yeah, can I help you? And I was all like miserable.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, hey, can you
Bitter,
help me
talking on
find
the
this?
phone.
And I'm like, no, I don't want to right now. I got a guy, and I wanted to just vent. But yeah, obviously, you know.
I got a guy who didn't show up for an interview.
I know. How about that? Why don't you find me a person?
Hey, I just wanted to order a part.
Yeah, right. So angry.
I just want a bolt.
But it's funny, like, because, I mean, I work in a doctor's office and we schedule appointments, whatever. But it's always like, I mean, yeah, people there are showing up because they're sick and they want to have a doctor's appointment, but then they don't expect the doctor to have the same thing. Like, they get sick too. It's like,
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
have a cancellation, it's like, oh, they have to bump their whole schedule.
Yeah.
And of course, the patient, like, same thing like you. I took off work for this appointment, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, and it's like, then you have to reschedule.
Yeah,
and
but that's
But that's different.
That's
This
different, though.
person, for the tattoo thing.
Well, yeah,
this
that's-
person would blatantly would
Sure.
just like
That's
show
just
up and just
disorganization,
yeah, and
yeah.
just tell you. Or your appointments for 1, and this person showed up at literally like 3.
yeah.
Well, call me. He's like, I'm on my way. And so, boom, I'm like, all right. So, like, I'm there for like a half hour, just kind of waiting around, looking at magazines or whatever. An hour
So
passed.
not
I'm
even
like,
in the shop.
not even at the shop. I was just like, all right, well, let me just go down the street, grab a slice of pizza, whatever. That'll kill time. Whatever. They have my cell phone. When they get here, just call me. I go around the corner, come back. So that's a half hour. And then I just wait for like another. And then, boom, the person walks in. I'm like, dude.
The thing about that is you've already had the experience of them saying like, oh yeah, no, I don't have, it's not open. Seeing that it's open, it's like,
Yeah.
what were you doing? Like, what were you doing?
Yeah,
Was
so
it
now
that
I don't
important?
believe anything you're
Right,
saying.
right.
Like a total distrust. And like I said, the only reason why I was going through is because I needed to finish a percentage of my arm
Yeah.
for then another
take it
really
out.
good artist to then take over and then them accept like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of people who would do it.
Sure.
But are they up to par?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Can you? Okay, it'd be like me writing in cursive or something like that, or handwriting, and not finishing my message that I want to write. Will James be willing to finish my message? Yes, but is what James going to do the same? Going to be to the same? That's what I mean. It's like, yeah, you can find somebody, but is it going to be to the same caliber of
The same thought process, same.
Yeah,
everything.
that's the point. What about the other way? Has anything ever been canceled on you that you were pumped that got canceled?
School.
Yeah, like
Snow
like a
days.
school
No.
cancellation,
Snow days.
snow days, school
Those are
days.
the best, man. Those are-
Oh, you talking about like something getting canceled? You get super
You're
excited,
excited,
that,
yeah.
that it got canceled.
Yeah, like you got the opposite reaction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
kind of like what Manny was saying earlier with at the altar. The person's probably like, yes,
Yeah.
So
they're not here, they're not
School.
coming.
Going back to the barbershop, sometimes I'm backed up. People come in late and I get backed up and I'll have an appointment. They'll actually text me or call. I'm like, they're canceled. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yes. I can get caught up in that
Yeah.
time frame and I'll be on point the rest of the day.
Back on
so
track,
yeah.
back on
So
track.
sometimes there are some cancellations in the industry if I'm backed up or whatever. I'm cool with.
Yeah.
If they don't put me back on track.
Right.
But it's a cancellation, not a no show.
Right. Yeah, it's different.
You know?
Yeah.
Um.
It was like a workout canceled. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if work ever got canceled for me.
it's only like happened a handful of times because obviously I work for a
Well,
university
yeah,
too.
we work
so it's
for
like,
healthcare. It's
Yeah,
different.
So,
I
how-
get that phone call the night before. Actually, not even. It's like 8:00 at night, and I'll get the phone call. We're closed tomorrow. It's gonna snow really hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes,
Not a flake in the
not
sky.
even a flake in the sky, and I
But,
still get.
but like
You know, like he has like a Hummer and he can run over the world. And time.
he can plow through the whole city. But like working for a university too, they rarely ever close until
Yeah.
recently. But it's like the same thing. It's like there could be 10 feet of snow, they'll still be open as long as they can get a pathway for the students to get through and all that stuff. So,
Right.
Yeah.
So the hospital's another level of the same thing. So
Oh yeah, they don't.
Or even like we'll be in there at work, and all of a sudden it just starts snowing.
sure.
15 minutes in, make the phone call. Yo, are you aware if we're gonna leave or what's the deal? I don't know. I'll call you back. Half hour later, yeah, they're letting us out at 10 or 12 or whatever the case may be. I'm like, yes, playing my day.
If I was your super, I'd be so pissed off. Like, hey, so what's going on? It's like, come on, man, really? It just started
Yeah.
snowing, bro. Not even a dusting on the floor yet.
Yep. But I mean, it's bad because we know that eventually it's
Oh
gonna
yeah,
get
you
shut
know it's
down.
gonna happen, right?
Just,
I'd be
just
doing the
because
same
of that
thing.
too.
That's funny.
That
I
is
can't,
funny.
I can't really remember one that it like. I'm sure there's been kind of like man,
In
thank
school,
God.
there's a couple
School.
like tests that got pushed off, and then ended up just like, all right, we're not having this or whatever, or something on a syllabus like got jammed up and they would just take off. There was stuff like that. Even classes, I remember like us sitting around like. Part of university policy was like you have to sit in the seats for at least 15 minutes. If the professor doesn't show up, you're allowed to leave, and then they weren't allowed to use that against you as long as you're there for 15 minutes. So if the class is a 2:00 class and it's 2:15, the professor's not there, literally people were out of the door.
Phew. Wasting no time.
Wasted no time, and it can't be held against you. It was like school policy. I don't know what it is now. It might be something similar
So
to
15
it.
minutes, he's not there. You're out.
Yeah,
Oh, think about it. I mean, for a class that lasts 50 minutes, I mean,
right.
By the
Yeah,
time you
you're
get
half
your
shot.
stuff
That's
out,
a,
it's
yeah,
like,
absolutely.
come on,
That's
it's
an
waste
Third
of
of the
time.
classes are gone at that point. Probably.
Yeah.
And also it had to be basically without like warning. So if the professor sent out an email stating, today's class will begin at blah blah blah,
Oh,
then
okay.
you can't say, oh, you didn't show up. So there's
Right.
like whatever, and then you also had like emails
Email.
like it's 2:15, you're still not here. I'm heading out, and that's all you had to do because it got timestamped by the email,
Yeah.
and then you just bounce. I mean, that only happened a handful of time. It happened to me at least once every semester.
With teachers.
With a different professor.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the same thing. Like, it's hard. But yeah, it was definitely like school, especially when you were kids.
Yeah.
It's like we're all
Absolutely.
staring at the radio or the TV or that phone call.
And that's the thing. Yeah, I remember always in the city. It was like always I think of the parochial schools and like the private schools always got closed, and like you always waited for like the
Waited for
public
that,
schools
yeah.
to.
We would always get the phone
The
call
announcements.
because my mom knew the one lady, and like your mom would get the phone call too. So we'd just wait for someone to give my mom the call.
Like
and my mom,
9:15, the phone started ringing. Like, yes,
Yeah, you
yes,
know.
at least a 2 hour delay. Yeah, you're
2-hour delay or close completely.
I can tell you one that got canceled that I was super pumped about. My son's like 5-year-old basketball team. It was like snowing and the game was at like 8 o'clock
In the
And it
morning?
was- yeah, so I had to get up at like 6, shovel everything out, and it was
To get
like,
yourself all cleaned.
yeah, just to go watch 30 minutes of just nonsense.
Basketball.
Man, when they said canceled, it was like victory. Oh, I was so happy.
It's
Went back to
hilarious.
sleep.
What about you canceling? Have you ever canceled? And it was, not that it would have been like something petty, but like canceled like an online order or a subscription or something like that.
I have one from Amazon not too long ago. I ordered something, and I placed the order, and I usually look at the date when it's going to be delivered.
Yeah.
And the date was definitely like, I needed it before the date that it was coming in. So I'm like, I looked at it, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. You know what? But let me give it the benefit of the doubt, because sometimes Amazon is ahead of their schedule, like with delivery.
The estimation.
And I was like, you know what? For this, I can't wait. I cannot like play that waiting game and assume that they're gonna be on time. But if it's late, then it's
Sure.
late. So I canceled it, and they actually give you, what was the reason for? I was like, won't be here on time,
Yeah.
and you just write that in there, and they canceled, and they refund
So
you
not
your money.
everything's prime.
Yeah.
Some stuff though is just ridiculous. It would be like August, and like you order something like,
You
oh,
showed me that.
this will be in October 15th. I'm like,
No,
no,
so-
excuse me, I can fly to whatever I just ordered
Yeah.
this from and
Yeah,
come
that's
back and probably be.
No, because so Eagles, they're doing like awesome. So I went online looking at like some apparel, like get like new gear because they're doing awesome. So we know that the season's going to be extended. I went online, saw like, I think it was like a vest. I don't know, it was something like, it was pretty dope. It was to my interest, and it said like estimated time like December 20. It was even after Christmas. It was like December 27th or something like that. From now, I'm like, yo, even if I were to buy this for a gift, it wouldn't even make it in time right now. I'm like, why are you posting this?
But-
and it was, hold on, and where it was being shipped from was Ben Salem.
That's bizarre.
You can't. That
they
means the
said
person
Ben
didn't
Salem.
have the product.
Yeah, it was from
That's-
which Ben
yeah, I know
Salem
what that
is.
is.
The next like town or two over from us. It's like a 10 to 15 minute ride,
That's someone
and it was
who's-
gonna take almost a month and something to get here.
That's someone who has it's called a drop ship.
Yeah.
A drop ship business. So basically they have no inventory, but they're selling stuff online. They wait for someone to purchase it and then get that factory basically send it straight to, so they cut out the middleman basically.
Right.
So I was, and it was like, they had a full store. It was everything that I
all
liked.
drop
I'm
ship,
doing.
yeah.
I'm like, holy smokes! I'm like, and I'm showing him. Yeah, we were just cracking up. I'm like, not that I want it next week or whatever. I wait two weeks tops or whatever if I want. But dude, it is after Christmas, and I'm like,
Yeah, it's
holy-
bad.
We're in the beginning of November.
I just our Rally House actually did it to me.
Oh,
They're
I
still
saw that.
open?
My bottle
Yeah.
opener,
Yeah.
my Temple bottle opener that I wanted. I saw a while ago. I'm like, oh man, I want to get that, and I didn't. I was like, kind of like one of those things, like I'll get it as a gift. I didn't get it, so I'm like, and I kept not that I was forgetting. It was just like one of those things where I'm like, I don't know. Maybe if I come across that, I'm not gonna go out of my way. It's like whatever. So me and Heck are talking one day. I'm like, oh, dude, you know what? I'm just gonna do it because I don't know where my one bottle opener went, and I'm like, I'm just gonna order it right now. So boom, I ordered it. He's like, you got it? I'm like, yeah, I just ordered it. Whatever. 2 days later, I get like an email from them like, oh, sorry. Good for you though. You have good taste because it's sold out. That means other people like it. That's their
That's a
way.
response.
That was a response. I'm like, oh, okay, that's one way to put it. But still, I wanted this Temple one.
I know.
It was the exact same one, like that long one, and like it had the grip. You know how like the one has the black grip. Well, this was like the Temple cherry color grip, and it said Temple University. It was cool. Like it was like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Something different. It was like $13. I'm like, I'm down. Not even. It was like $7. It was like almost 5 something for shipping.
Oh man.
Yeah, and they didn't even have it.
Did you guys have you guys ever canceled food?
Yes.
I don't think
I did that, and it was only because we were coming home from a wedding, and we ordered me and my wife. We ordered food for a big crew of us,
I remember this.
and then he went ahead and I didn't know that he was getting food. Goose was getting food. He ordered everyone Steve steaks, and I'm like,
And already had gotten
it, and I didn't know, so I was just ordering like 2 large pies, French fries, and bring it back. We were gonna come to Jim's house to hang out. I remember we're right in Yardley, right in Langhorne, the gas station on the Four Corners there.
Yeah.
And I was pumping gas, and Jess was calling the order in. And then literally when I got to Pendle, I called and canceled it.
It was a whole miscommunication thing.
That's
I wanted to
exactly
get
what-
Steve Steaks to like kind of out of nowhere and surprise you guys, and then you were ordering food just to like have that because we were all coming here.
Yeah.
So it was just like everyone was trying to like have food as we got here, but no one
So
communicated.
that I got the hint. Somebody said that Goose got steaks, so I called and literally I was like, "Yeah, can I cancel that order?" It was like 2 large pies, whatever, and I didn't call the pizza shop for like 3-4 months after that because I was like, "They know my number, they know who I am.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't want to. I want them to forget about that before I place another order because I don't know.
They flagged your number already.
Yeah, I don't know.
We
But
just
yeah.
did that the other at work. We did it last week. We wanted wings, right? So there's the Wing Hut, and then there's like, I don't know, the town's
the wing
hut.
house.
Yeah, right. It was super similar, right?
Yeah.
So we look at the one. There's like an awesome lunch special, which is $10. You get 10 wings, fries, and a drink for $10. I was like, oh, bet, dude, let's do
Yeah,
it.
that's not bad.
So the guy starts to place the order. He's on the phone with the lady. He's going, he's rambling off. Yeah, I want your lunch special. And she responds with, a lunch special? Like, being inquisitive. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I want the wings. So he fires off this whole meal for 3 people. And we look at it.
Which should be $30.
Yeah, $30. Well, not a big deal. And she keeps saying, she's like, What kind do you want? What kind of chili? Wait, what sauce do you want on it? And all of a sudden, we're like,
he called the house instead of the hut.
yes, we called the completely the wrong person, but we placed the order. He went through it because she took it. She never at one point stopped and said, "Are you sure you have the right restaurant? Are you sure?"
He's
you
like,
have
yeah,
the
number
spot?"
4.
Yeah, and he keeps saying that, and he's like, yeah, it's right here. It's right on the website. And she's like, you could hear like, oh, something wasn't right.
baffled
Anyway,
almost.
she takes the order. 5 minutes later, maybe 10 minutes later, I'm like, wait, how far is this place? The one place was 10 minutes away, and this one's only 5 minutes away. And I'm like, oh, we got the wrong person. He's like, oh, I'm going to call her. So he calls her, and she's like, yeah, I just placed an order like 2 minutes ago. Lying, 10 minutes ago. She's like, yeah, I know. She's like, I got the wings in the fryer. He's like, all right, I want to cancel that. And banged him. I was like, dude, what are you going to do? He's like, well, we'll never eat from there again, huh? I was like, I guess not. But we just did it the other day. I felt bad because it's lost money there. I mean,
Yeah.
not really, because you can always sell wings. But I don't know. I couldn't believe it. Like,
That's
I've never
hilarious.
done that before. And he just banged on her. And he turned red. He felt horrible. We both felt bad. Instead of just
Yeah.
paying, but they were like $15 for like 10 wings. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Something that would have cost
So the
somebody
price
10
was
bucks.
totally different
Yeah.
also.
They didn't have the
Yeah.
deal. They didn't have the deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the deal. That's what
No
we were
deal.
looking for, was the deal. I wanted the canned soda was what got me. The canned soda.
Purple
Man, he
drink.
was sold with the purple drink in the
Yeah.
can.
Purple drink. What about most of us are dads here. Have you ever had to cancel something with your kids? I know, Manny, you had mentioned something about your pop kind of canceling, not really canceling, just was
He was a no-show.
was a no-show. What did you cancel and how did you feel? Is there anything you canceled with your kids?
I'm sure. Wait, I don't
if you-
look at it as like a cancel. It's-
If you ask your kids, they know exactly what
Yeah,
it
I'm
is.
sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I don't look at it as a cancellation. It's like because we're not. And that's a terrible way to do it.
Because
Because we're not. We're not going. I'm not
We're-
canceling. It's just because it's just not.
Don't ask
happening.
why. We're just
Yeah.
not.
But I'm
Well,
sure.
it's a cancel if you had plans for it.
Yeah.
To say because we're not.
And if you
is
do
really-
something else, it's a curveball.
Yeah.
It's change up.
You
Yeah.
replace
changing it
yeah,
up a
you
little bit.
Replace it with something else.
Yeah, see, that's different, though. At least
Yeah.
you're somewhat like.
You're substituting it for something else
Yeah.
to kind of compensate. Yeah.
I probably do.
Well,
I
there's
probably do it
different-
more than I can do.
There's
Yeah, for me it's hard because I get her like every like other weekend or just on the weekend. So when I map stuff out, it's just all about her. So I really try not to.
yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I have though.
Going to like somebody's house. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Oh, we're going to go here. And we ended up at the store for too long or whatever. Somebody's out. Oh, we're not going to go. Oh, see, we're not going to go. They're
yeah.
devastated. You know, a situation like
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, they're out to eat and they don't want to come home or whatever
That was
the
the
case
worst.
is.
It was like, or you're already at someone's house. It's not a cancellation, but your parents are like, kill the vibe. Like, all right, let's go. We're leaving.
Yeah.
Like, no, but we're like in the middle of having a lot of fun.
Yeah. that happened to Layla yesterday.
Oh yeah.
My
Layla
daughter went over to Heck's house, and oh my God, she was smitten all day. She's like, Dad, I had so much fun. And Jen was like, she wanted to sleep over, right? I looked over. My daughter doesn't. She won't mess with anybody. And she went over there, and she was having so much fun. She's like, Dad, so after the game, are we gonna go back? I was like, no, Layla, we're not going anywhere. We're done. That was it. We're going nowhere else. You had your fun.
The minute she walked into the house, she walks over to the dollhouse. It's in the corner. Manny takes her jacket off and did not even care. It was the fact that me, Manny, and CJ were outside for like 5-10 minutes, and not once did she come outside looking for you.
Nope.
She disappeared with the girls. Like
awesome.
I was like, what the world?
Right. Enough,
like, just
enough
easy.
to want to go to sleep over and go back after the game. It's like, Lily, you were just there for 4 hours, babe. You gotta come on. Just stay here.
It's funny. Is there anything last closing comments of cancellations?
Don't do it. Don't cancel.
Well, it still goes back to situational. I mean, sometimes you have to cancel.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
have to. I mean, even just with call outs.
Sure.
Just people calling out from work or whatever. Sometimes some stuff is just not, it's just unavoidable. But my thing is kind of like what Goose is saying. Like, it's when the pattern is, even with my tattoo artist. It was,
Absolutely.
you're known for that. That's different than where, is out of the blue. This person doesn't normally do this.
Exactly. The first time or two, you can give the benefit of the doubt. But when it's a constant thing, or like you said, it becomes a pattern, then of course, then.
Yeah, and that honestly, in my industry, that's how I build like a decent reputation, because I'm always there. And a lot of I get new customers, and they're saying like their previous barber wouldn't be there, or not even show up, or cancel. So most people just want consistency.
Sure.
So
Right.
that's just, like I say, I'm not the best barber in the world, but I'm there and I'm consistent. I'm being there. So it's just like, people rather have that than just like, am I gonna show up and is he gonna be there? Am I gonna sit here and wait for 2 hours when my appointment is at a certain time? So that's just, end of the day, it's all about being consistent.
Cool. All right, so there you have it, folks. We like to end our episodes with quotes, and today we will end with a quote by Raymond Arroyo. Successful people understand the value of time. Once they commit to doing something, they would never cancel. And Howard Hughes, once you consent to some concession, you can never cancel it and put things back to where they were. So there you have it, folks. Cancellations. In this episode, the crew talks about cancellations that happened to us and how we reacted to them. We cover topics that range from doctor's appointments, school, work, haircuts, field trips, subscriptions, and other plans that were canceled on us. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Raymond Arroyo and Howard Hughes. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyLeeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyLeeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.